Yeah.
Right? But it's they've hijacked this feeling that you get that is a part of being a person, because that feeling was to reward you with being able to feed your family.
Yeah. And within the tribe,
Yes.
where it's your uncle and your cousin and your daughter and your mom and everybody's together.
Everybody's together.
Yeah. Like the movie Dances with Wolves. You know,
Exactly.
he really got it. They really hit that one, the nail on the head with that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great example of that with that movie. But you know, the reality of that life is so much more satisfying than the life of being a banker. Like when you're a banker, I'm not a banker, but I would imagine your reward is you're always looking for new things to buy, right? So you're making enough money that one day you're going to get a yacht. One day you're going to get that Ferrari. One day you're going to get that jet. One day you're going to get that bigger house. You're going to get to a point where, you know, hey, you make enough money, maybe you can buy an island. You're crazy? Like that's... Like, if you got an island, like Tyler Perry has an island, oh, he's balling. You know, that guy's got an island. You hear about people with an island, like, well, that's ultimate balling.
Yeah.
He's got a jet, got an island, got a boat, got a this, got a that. And you just, you know, Tyler Perry's obviously creative. I'm not talking about him. But when talking about someone who's a person who's just acquiring they're just acquiring numbers, just acquiring currency. And then what's your reward? What do you get out of that? Maybe you get to play golf on the weekend. And what do you do when you play golf? You're talking about your objects and your things and the things you're acquiring. And, you know, have you seen the newest that? Oh, I'm trying to get one. I'm on the waiting list. You know, and that's where their good feelings come from. That is the subversion. That's the hijacking of those positive feelings of accomplishment like you get when you're fishing. Like for them, it's accomplishing something even more difficult to get, like a yacht. And then it's just this trick, this biological trick that's forcing them to keep slaving away under fluorescent lights for 16 hours a day.
I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to evolve to some way where we can kind of get back to something like that in some sort of form, not literally, but, you know, I mean, sports in some way, when they're not perverted into these giant things like the NFL and everything like that, are at least a way of artificially acting out the chase, you know, or the tribals, you know, the team, you know, that's a modern way that sort of taps into those ancient needs, you know, those evolutionary needs. And I wonder if we can ever get to that on some culture-wide scale. We certainly don't seem to be.
It doesn't seem like it.
There's billions and billions of people, and you know.
Well, it seems like there's so many people that are living that way. More people are living that way than not living that way. If you did a survey of all the people and their occupation and the enjoyment level of their job and what they look forward to, I would imagine the majority of people do not enjoy what they're doing. And they're sort of stuck, and they're just doing a thing for money, and they don't find it rewarding.
I would agree. And they probably have a hobby or a pastime or a love that they're working to be able to do whatever that is, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing that excites them.
Yeah.
You know, they get off work and they go fucking axe throwing or something, like whatever the thing that they're into.
But what is sort of interesting to me, and it is kind of hopeful to me on some level, Joe, is that there are a lot of people that are taking those individual passions and making them businesses, you know? Like I'll go back to the idea of designing motorcycles, you know? I'm sure that, you know, there are guys that love making up some crazy, you know, kind of motorcycle. They're artists, right? And they somehow find a way to have that garage and to do it. And to sell it and to make it, you know, and usually the whole family is part of it, right? The mom, the daughters, everybody gets into it. And I think there's a lot of that going on now. It's kind of on an underground level. It doesn't get into the papers or anything. But I think that that gives me some hope. There's a lot of kind of mom and pop people following their dreams, even if they're not, you know, global dreams, but they're certainly dreams that satisfy the soul.
Yeah, I
in
mean,
one
they
way or
don't. They
another.
certainly don't have to be global. If you're making motorcycles and you start doing it in your garage, and then you post a few on social media, and someone says, "Hey, I'd love to buy one of your motorcycles," then all of a sudden you've got a project to sell.
What a feeling that must be, the first one you
Yes.
sell, you know?
Yeah, and then because of the internet, I mean, this is like probably one of the more positive
Yeah.
things about the internet. Because of the internet, people can find you, and you actually can move from having this very unsatisfactory job to doing something that you truly enjoy. Maybe you start off as you're making woodwork, making tables and
Yeah.
various projects, and you post them on Instagram, and all of a sudden people want to buy them. Now you got orders. You're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of quitting the job. And then you and the wife have to have a conversation. Like, is this sustainable?
Yeah.
Can we really do this? And well, I'll tell you what, let's give ourselves 6 months, and I'm going to work on it part-time on nights and weekends, and it'll be worth the sacrifice. And I think I could really get to a point where we can have a real way of life that is very satisfying. Like, if you go from being a person who works in a bank, this boring, unsatisfying version of reality that so many people are trapped in, to all of a sudden you're painting and your paintings are selling, and you have a gallery opening and your stuff is selling, and you're like, oh my goodness, I think I can make a living painting. Like, what a much more satisfying and exciting way of life that is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a believer, as you know from what I've talked about the muse and stuff like that, that through each of us is flowing an underground river. And that river is unique to us, and it's our creativity. Let's say it's the guy with the motorcycles, or it's a guy that wants to paint lowrider cars, that just has or design lowrider cars or something like that. And that is flowing through us. And if we don't do it, if we stay working in the bank or doing whatever it is, if we yield to our resistance and our fear, and we don't do that, that river doesn't go away. That underground river doesn't go away. It flows into another channel, flows into a negative channel, right? And it starts to fuck us up, physically, emotionally, psychologically. But if we do let it flow, and pretty soon the whole family gets involved in it, right? And we've now created this energy, which you could call God energy. It's coming from some other place, right? Is helping everybody. Everybody's feeding off of it. And I'm encouraged that there are more people doing that than I think there ever were because of the internet, like you say, because of the fact that you can find a market. You can let people be aware of what you're doing, and people will come to you and will buy your shit. So God bless everybody that's doing that. You know?
Yeah.
Everybody that does it, don't stop.